Happy Thursday evening and welcome back to the Micro Mayhem build over here. I am your asshole host Explicit, and I will show you guys an update. I wanted to just do the done video, show you guys kind of what it looks like, but you know what? I think I'll show you kind of midway here because I am stupid excited. So in the process, I don't want to show you it. In the process of this, I had spent some time till about 9:30 last night messing with this little thing that I am calling the F-bomb. And you'll see why in a minute. But I got it all together. I put the props on, different props than it came with. And they were actually the Mobula 7 props, the quad props. And it just started spinning in a circle. I'll use this guy as an example. It literally just sat there and did this on the floor, and I'm like, what the F? So I took one off, I checked them. I had pictures of before I took it apart, so I know I wired it right. I know the props were on the right orientation. The only difference was the factory had the motors firing down, and this one has, I put the motors up at first. And then you have to switch the props from, I don't have a prop in front of me. So if you've seen any of the other videos, I call this slide in. There's a million terms. The front two are sliding towards the front, and same with the back. So it's pitching. So if it's spinning this way and then you flip the motor upside down, it won't work. So you'd have to switch the prop opposites to work. So I did that, and it still was. Whoop! I almost showed you. It wasn't working right. It just kept spinning, and then I do one, it would great, and I'm like blah 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 blah. Alright, so I felt defeated. I took it apart. I took off all the heat shrink I put on it that you guys saw, and it was just, I slept on it all day, all night, thought about it all day at work, and I just couldn't figure it out. So for shits and giggles, I came home, I just looked it over, and I said, you know what, let me just throw the props that come with it on it. And it worked. I'm like, what? So I'm thinking maybe the props, because the style that you put on here may not work proper upside down. They won't have enough thrust, even with them firing up. Maybe they were too small. I don't know what it was. So here it is. This is a crazy looking contraption. I call it the F-bomb because if this thing comes flying at you, props first, people are going to be like, what the F? So they're dropping the F-bomb, aka F-bomb. So instead of having the motors up, I just left them down. They don't slide out of here. I have heat shrink. I'm kind of pissed because I burnt it a little bit with a lighter, but whatever. I'll put a tiny whoop sticker on there. I'm still waiting for the camera. The Cadex Beetle V1 will be on here, and then the next little hurdle will be just figuring out, because the size of these are different than anything else. So it'll be another custom job. Not that this whole thing isn't. So I got it to fly, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna test it real quick and just do a little room test and see how it floats. So I grabbed one of these with the cool Velcro. Oh man, like fucking cat hair, holy shit. So I was calling it Sherlock tape. I did a video on it. I'll just show it again just in case you guys didn't see that and you're looking for the best battery stuff. There are no two different sides. You just cut this, put it on each side of your battery in the quad, and it will never come off. So yeah, Home Depot. It was like $3 and you get 4 sheets of it, and you'll do a bunch. Every quad I have, except for Mobula because it doesn't need it, and Tiny Whoop has it. So I have a piece under here and then a rubber band. Ain't going nowhere. This is not a rocket ship by any standards, but it is super smooth. I changed my endpoints in the radio, and for those that don't understand, if I can say this as silly as it sounds, so obviously there's no input here, and then all the way up that's 100%, 100%. So you can change that in here, so your endpoint becomes 120, 130, 140. So it will allow for a little more pitch and a little more aggressiveness in a quad that you don't plug into Betaflight or the SpeedyBee app to change it. So there is a way, if you have a controller with that style, that you can take like the Tiny Whoop and any of the other ones that you don't plug in and change the aggressiveness of it. So I grabbed the battery. Actually got 3 of them and the factory battery. So the story I'm going to will go with both of these. So I obviously store all my batteries if I'm not flying at the 3.8, 3.2, 3.3 volts. This one was at 3.1 and this one was at 3.4. I stopped at 4 minutes, and I still am only at 3.65. So I got over 4 minute, I wouldn't say a ripping flight, but I was just going back and forth, somewhat aggressive in the room. So it wasn't just you want to test, so you're not just sitting here going like this across the room. Oh, I got 20 minutes flight. So I went back and forth. I was constantly moving, raising and elevating, and decelerating. So I was on the motors, and I got over 4 minutes easily with this. I stopped keeping track of the 4 minute that I set on the controller. This one got 4 minutes 45 seconds, and like I said, this was just around 3.8. I mean, 3.8 volts, 3.1. So I mean, not bad. Power is still good. This thing has a real unique curve with the style prop and the setup. So when you get on the throttle, there's a little bit of hesitation. So I adjusted my throttle curve inside the controller a little bit, and that kind of helped a bit. But this is not designed for doing any racing, anything fast. This is more of what I'd call an exploratory quad, you know, ripping through the trees. The only downfall would be the open props, but you know, you get to know where you are in your space, so to speak, so you'll know what you can still go through. The downfall to this style would be if you catch a branch, you're easily going to hang on a branch versus something like this. But again, I wanted to do something unique and a little fun. This is a hand launcher. So I have to get the battery in. You know, I tried to do it on the floor when the cat fur, it just got sucked right into it, and there's barely any on the floor. So you just do a little toss and throttle. See if we can do that. Toss and throttle, and it instantly hovers, which is cool. So you can just pick it up and throw it around, and it'll fly. It is super, super quiet. These props don't make any noise at all compared to even the Tiny Whoop. I think the Tiny Whoop's even louder. I am very, very pleased with the flight characteristics. I got the flight controller pretty centered, balanced on there. It was a little, because I had to chop these stands down a little bit to get a little lower profile. I'm debating. I got to see how, you know, I think it's a 170-degree camera angle or something crazy on that Beetle. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm debating if I want to put it on top or if I want to bring it down and somehow make a custom little setup and have it kind of in the front. If the vertical field of view is decent, then I will get a little bit of prop. Probably not with it up here. Even at max angle, let's see if I can get it flat. Max angle, it's not much more. If that's comparative flat, it doesn't go much more than that. It doesn't need it. So camera angle won't be an issue. It's too bad they don't make like an HD camera without all the extra weight. You know, if they made something the size of like the Beetle or the all-in-ones that you could get good footage out of without extra crap and weight, because this guy would be perfect for how smooth and slow and precise. That's one of the reasons I enjoyed flying it. You know, even though I consider this a beginner quad, I think some people would be even happy ripping around the yard with it. If you set up a course in the yard, it will easily, and I think I did that before too. We had some gates set up around the yard and had a little cool course, and it had no problems. It's a very agile quad, considering. Again, the only kind of downfall, and I have to look and see, or if anybody recommends, I forget what size props they are. They're bigger than 40. They're like 2 1/4, 2 1/2, somewhere right in between size prop inch. So whatever that translates to millimeters, 48. 50, 52, somewhere, I don't know. If there's a prop that will work upside down the way this does, you know, obviously you can enhance the performance of it. But again, that wasn't the intention of this. It was just to have a fun little project, and I guess you could sort of call it a toothpick. It's kind of light. There's, you know, it's a very thin frame. I didn't use the top plate at all, just the standoffs, and then whatever sort of camera mount. That's what this other crazy cord here is. And then I left a little bit extra, because with the longer batteries you want enough room for it to go back. And what's cool is it's not in the way of the props. Once that thing's on there, this sits up, you ain't getting that hit on the prop. The way I had it set up before, I had it zip tied down because I had the motors going up, and that would have hit, but I changed that out. So I think that's about it. The camera should be here Saturday, hopefully. I'll show you these for what I ordered. I was talking about the other day. If this gives any kind of hint to it, I ordered the purple and yellow just to be completely different because it's neither color that I'm a fan of or would fly. So I ordered the purple and yellow, and it even says purple and yellow. Unless I have gone colorblind in my old age, I don't see purple or yellow. But the Amazon with the Prime 1-day shipping, it was like $7, and so you got 2 full sets here, 2 full sets here, and they will be going on that new rig that I got the email today that it just got finished being made and tested, and hopefully it'll be here. It's coming a long ways, so it's probably gonna take another week, but stay tuned for that excitingness, because that, like I said, I'm gonna have some fun with that little thing. On that note, I think I'm done for today. I've already hit 10 minutes real quick. So let me know what you think of this little goofy thing. Again, this is called the F-Bomb. Something a little bit different. And for those that didn't know what it was, I think it's 2 years old, 2.5 years old. It's the Blade Nano QX FPV. It had a crazy sort of arm like this, and then it had legs that came down, so it lifted the props off the ground and had little legs. And then it was the first Nano QX that had the FPV camera with adjustable camera angle and a really shitty VTX in it. I did a video way back when I got it originally and swapped the camera with a Sony sensor, and then I took the Blade Torrent. Did I put it away? No, I didn't. See if I can open that. Yep. So I took, because I still have the Blade Torrent VTX with a little change in the antenna, so instead of coming out the back, it's going straight up, so it went through the canopy, a 200 milliwatt. So I'll find a home for this guy. It worked great, but it obviously cut down the flight time, and then I ended up giving it to my dad, and now it's back. So full circle, no pun intended. So that's where we're at, everybody. F-bomb. On that note, I am gonna go enjoy the rest of the evening and see what's on TV tonight. Peace out.